Hi, good day everyone. My name is Alan Liwanag, but everybody calls me Lon. And this is my very first YouTube video. And today I'd like to share to you the ways that my wife and I adopted a couple of years ago in order to eliminate our $40,000 of debt and save at least $75,000 in just 2.5 years. Yes, you heard it right. It's $75,000 in savings and $40,000 of debt out in just under 3 years. So before I share to you those tips or those ways, I'd like to just step back and just give you a background information as to how I got into the $40,000 mess. So a couple of years back, my sisters and I created this retail business which is focused on selling handcrafted products from the Philippines. For the first 2 years, it was really making money. But 2008 financial crisis hit and we started losing money, and next thing we know, we were losing money by thousands of dollars a day. So we ended up closing the business and I ended up shouldering at least $40,000 of debt as part of the business loss. So the very first thing that we did was we changed our attitude. We changed our outlook of life. We changed how we viewed debt as a bad problem. So, to tell you the truth, it is really not easy to be in a debt situation and have a positive outlook of life on life. It's really not that simple. It's really that hard. So what we did was, instead of telling ourselves that it's it's way too impossible to solve our problems, that nobody's gonna help us accomplish our our goal of our goal of getting rid of debt, what we did was we took a positive outlook of life. We turned things around and told ourselves that we're not gonna be dead. We're not gonna be in debt for forever. That this is just a phase of life and a stumble in life, and that we had to move on and make things better from this day on. So that's the first thing that we did. I'll tell you, it's not easy to be in debt and be in a good state of mind. So you see, my daughter's right there. So you see, I'm here because she's too loud, and I wouldn't be able to say everything I needed to say without her interrupt. Second thing that my wife and I did was we stepped back and assessed our income and expenses situation. And this is one of the things that I highly recommend to those people who want to get rid of their debt. So you have to step back and assess your income and expenses situation. You need to understand if your income is higher than your expenses or the vice versa. If your income is less than your expenses, then that means that you are incurring more debt and not getting rid of them. However, if your income is higher than your expenses, then that means that you have a little bit more money to pay off your debt. It may be a simple math, but a lot of people tend to disregard that information and or tend to not look into it when they're trying to pay off their debt. The third thing that we did was we created a budget. For me and for my wife, a budget is always a necessity, regardless of how much you have or how much or how little you have. You have to have a budget in place. So what's the purpose of having a budget? Well, the budget is used for you to understand what's coming in and what's going out. So coming in, i.e., that's income, and what's going out are the expenses. You will understand if you have a budget. You will understand where you are overspending and where you are underspending. And as when you know where you are overspending, then you can make the necessary adjustments And when you know where you are under spending, you can also make the necessary adjustments. So the fourth thing that we did was we tightened our belt. When I say tighten our belt, what we did was we went back to determining our needs and wants. So we basically went to our bare minimum. Bare minimum meaning we just took care of our needs, and that's about it. We ditch out cable. We didn't spend anything for food, i.e., dining out. We were on budget for our groceries. We we took the public transportation instead of driving our car and things of that nature. We basically tightened our belt. We went to our bare minimum, and we're used to it. We come from a family in the Philippines. My family were nine in the family, five brothers and four sisters, my mom and my dad. So we're 11 in the family. And back in the Philippines, my dad was only making less than $1. So we had to sacrifice a lot of things. But we survived. So that's the same lessons that my wife and I applied into that situation. We took out all our wants and we just focus on our needs. And I think for those who are trying to get rid of their debt, you have to make sacrifice at times. You have to ensure that your needs are met, and don't worry too much about your wants. It's not going to be forever, but it's just a matter of time. So I highly recommend that you take your necessities first before those wants. So the fifth thing that my wife and I did, or what I did, was I tried to find better job opportunities for my family. So when we were in Vegas, I was the only one working in the family. So we decided that my wife stay home. She was pregnant at that time, and we didn't want to put too much stress on her on working. So we decided that she just stay home. So I applied for 435 jobs and got 20 something interviews, and I had two job offers. So you know, all the time I just applied and applied and applied for the job opportunity because I know there's going to be one. So I did get a job opportunity, and we were able to move from Las Vegas to Maryland, which is where we are right now. So just in case you can't find, or you are not able to get out of your way or get a new job, there's always other possibilities. One is do some side hustle. So aside from having a new job in a new place with a new family, so what I did was I took some side hustles from left and right. So I did some surveys online, and my wife did too. I went on Craigslist to find free things that I can refurbish and sell it to people at a steeper price. I Since we were living in an apartment, there were people coming in and out from the apartment. So what I did was I handed out some flyers to people and said, "Hey, people, if you have any job for me there, I could help you out." So there was one day when this person didn't have money to pay, so he paid me by the furniture that he had there. I was like, okay, but it turned out that furniture was almost $2,000. And so what I did was I sold it online and made a profit of 1,500. Sounds like a good deal. Yeah, you have to find a better job opportunity so you can earn more and you can pay more on your debt, or you can also find some side hustles. The sixth thing that I did, or my wife and I did, was we saved and invested at the same time. So usually the stories that I read was just all about paying off debt left and right, but but I didn't hear many people trying to save at the same time. So my wife and I tried to save and invest at the same time, which we were fortunate to do so. So during the time 2008 or 2009, the stock market was down, so we invested some of my income from my side hustles and my income from my job. And 2010, the stock market was good. 2011, when the stock market was good, so that's where we got most of our savings through investing. At the same time, we saved a lot of money before we pay out the debt. Before we pay out the debt, we made sure that we saved money first. So that's something different that we did. We saved first before we pay off debt. Last thing that we did was we communicated with the creditors. We asked for payment arrangement. We asked that the interest be waived and things like that. And luckily, we did get approved for a payment arrangement. I'll tell you that it's much easier to work with the creditors than to hide from them, than to disregard their phone calls and things of that nature. I'll tell you that the creditors will work better with you if you work with them. As simple as that. So we were able to make a payment arrangement, and as we began to see our debt decreased, we began to increase our savings and investment as well. And by the time we knew it, our debt was zeroed out, and our savings and investments were already up here. So that's about it for now. And all I can say, for those who are trying to get rid of their debt or think that their situation will not get any better, what I can say is it will, if you continue to find ways that you're comfortable with doing in order to get rid of your debts and find ways to make your situation better. So that's it for now. If you have any questions or suggestions on the topics that you want me to cover in this YouTube video, please let me know via this comments. Thank you and have a blessed day. Bye.